We get asked this question all the time. What do we do when our players are afraid to get hit by the ball? Sometimes they got hit by the ball and they're afraid, or they're afraid to get hit by the ball. So here's our 5 best ways to help your player overcome the fear of getting hit by the ball.
All right, guys, in this drill here, we're gonna talk about the proper way to get hit by the ball. Instead of telling our kids to get out of the way or to not be afraid, we wanna teach them the proper technique so that they can safely get out of the way of the ball. So all we're gonna do, we're gonna get to our normal batting stance. Now, anytime that ball's heading in our direction, there's a few simple steps that we're gonna take. The first one is we're gonna drop our barrel. The second one is we're gonna tuck our chin and we're gonna turn in. The reason why we drop our barrel is because we don't want this barrel up here, because a lot of times kids will duck out of the way, they'll actually foul it off and now it's strike 1, or it's gonna deflect off their bat and go into fair territory. All right, so step 1, drop the barrel. Step 2 is tuck the chin. We wanna make sure we get our face out of the way. All right, if you get a kid that gets hit in the face, or gets hit in the chest, or gets hit in the jaw, they're never gonna come back from getting hit by that pitch. So step 1, drop the barrel. Step 2, tuck the chin. And then the reason why we turn in, the third step, is so that when we do get hit, we get hit in the meatier parts of our body. We get hit in the back of the leg, get hit in the butt, maybe get hit in the back. But we're tucking, we're turning, and we're gonna get hit here, as opposed to what you'll see a lot of times, kids are trying to get out of the way like this. You know, they bail out, they're nervous. So we wanna stay away from getting hit on the front part of our body. So simple 3 steps: drop the barrel, tuck the chin, and turn in.
Another way to help your players overcome their fear of getting hit is talking them through it. Understand, ask them, what happened when you got hit? What did it feel like when you got hit? What are you afraid of? And kind of talk them through it, because an 8, 9, 10, who knows what age that player is, but talking them through it will get them to explain to you what they're afraid of, and you'll be able to help them even more. I remember when my son was 10 years old and he was standing in the batter's box and he got hit right up here, almost near the chin, and he went down hard, and all the coaches came running out over top of him, almost like he got shot by something. And it was like, they immediately got him to react as if he was really hurt. And I made sure after that time, I said, next time a player gets hit, we tell him to, hey, get up, Johnny, let's go, dust it off, sprint down to first base. Because what happens is, it's part of the game then. They got hit, okay, it hurts a little bit. Hey, run down. And then let the first base coach call timeout and then talk them through it. It'll make it much better than if all the coaches come sprinting out on the field, making sure that they're okay, and because then it makes it hurt a little bit more. So that's just another way, talking your players through getting hit by the ball.
All right, guys, in this video here, we're actually gonna talk about front toss or batting practice, and having a coach actually take smush balls or tennis balls and mixing them in. So again, the kids understand now how to get out of the way properly, right? They're not afraid anymore. So they get into the batter's box. We're just gonna take normal batting practice. So that's a bad pitch in. Good. So a lot of times during practice, guys, we'll just flip underhand. We'll throw it right down the middle. Or coaches throwing batting practice and the kid's in there and he can't wait to hit because he's not worried about getting hit. So if we take a smush ball or we take a tennis ball and every once in a while we mix one in, now they understand they do have enough time to get out of the way, right? I'm still thinking hit first, and then I realize that that ball's coming at me and I still have time to duck, drop my barrel, tuck my chin, and get out of the way of the pitch.
Another way to help your players that are afraid of getting hit by the ball is to have them shadow. And what shadow means, it's possibly having your batters, while the pitcher is getting ready to throw a bullpen before the game or even at practice, and they put a helmet on and they get into the batter's box and they're actually tracking the ball. They're pretending like they're in a game. They're pretending like they're hitting. So their helmet's on, their bat's in their hand, and the pitches are thrown to the catcher, and sometimes you can either have them call balls and strikes to really keep them focused and locked in. They're calling balls and strikes on every pitch that's coming through. Boom, that was a ball. They step back out and they're pretending like they're actual at-bats. They're putting their mindset as if it was a real at-bat. And now you have a real pitcher throwing the real velocity, and they're in there. If that ball does come at them, boom, they're gonna tuck and turn just like we taught them. So that's a really good way to help your batters simulate their at-bats and putting them into a more safe environment. So that'll definitely help your players that are afraid to get hit by the ball.
Coaches, another great way to help your players overcome the fear of getting hit by the pitch is to actually do simulated games in practice. So it's taking Coach Duke's shadow drill just a step further. We're gonna have simulated games at practice. They could be in the batting cage or they could be out on the field where you have players stand in, right? The pitcher's throwing, they're throwing live, and we're just gonna hit and play a game. So rather than just batting practice or flips or tee work, we're gonna have a pitcher stand on the mound, and we're gonna have a batter get in the batter's box, we have a defense out on the field, and we're gonna get these guys a lot of at-bats. And the last thing we wanna do is just make them feel really comfortable in practice, and now all of a sudden they get out into the game, and they've got a pitcher on the mound throwing fastballs, throwing breaking balls, throwing changeups. We wanna throw them right into the mix in practice, get them as many at-bats as they possibly can, leading up until the weekend. This way when they get out there, they're used to it. They've got 15, 20 at-bats under their belt instead of just getting out there and maybe getting a couple of bats on the weekend. This is really gonna help your players overcome that fear of getting hit. The more they can get in there and the more pitches they can see.